It is Brooke and
Tessa.
we finished Percy Jackson season
Woo!
1. And if you are new to my channel and you don't know what that means, it means that we are now going to do almost like a retrospective on the season, through each character's like journey and purpose, and kind of rank
Yeah.
them. If you are someone who has been on my channel since I started, you know I do this at the end of every season, so that for shows with multiple seasons, you kind of can get a snapshot of where my thought process was for each character at the end of a season and going into the next one.
Yes.
And it's interesting to see who changes, who doesn't. It's gonna be a little hard, I think, with this one, not to
Oh yeah. Put our book
take into account
conceptions.
book and like
Yes,
future,
that's
right?
true.
Like just looking at the season of the show. If you are on Patreon, I want to say thank you. You're seeing this early. These videos are actually my free videos on Patreon, so you can technically see them like 2 weeks early on Patreon for free.
Awesome.
So
You
they're
just
kind of
sub
for
to
the
the
people who
free
want to just go
patron.
over there, follow for free, because in the future they might want to be a part of it. But these are the
Yes.
only free videos currently on Patreon.
Heck yes.
Um, so that's kind of a fun thing. You also get your name on screen, so you'll see some people's names right now who we say thank you to.
Thank
Oh, I wanted
you.
to specifically thank one person.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Um,
say if you didn't.
there is a person named Ace, which I love that name
Hi,
as someone who
Ace.
is Ace. They have recently subscribed to the Patreon, and they left us a
Yay!
comment on our episode 7 reaction.
Which was a good
They
one.
said, I remember hoping that Krusty's would make an appearance because it was such a memorable scene for me. I was initially upset it didn't play out the way it did in the book because I would have loved to see Walker do the scene,
Yeah.
but him killing Krusty definitely would have been a bit too intense for a kid's show. Him mentioning their parents stretching and twisting and cutting off pieces was a direct reference to how the traps work, though, so it was at
Yeah.
least a nice nod.
Thank you so much for your comment, Ace. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I thought that was so sweet. And they kind of were similar to you, where like they remembered
Yes,
that
yeah.
scene, and they kind of agreed that it might have been a little too violent for this show.
I was sort of like, oh, okay. I think like you can kind of do things like that with like a cutaway or whatever, but I thought, I kind of after they had done Medusa's cutting head off with like it being invisible, I was like, okay, I feel like at least for now we're kind of like shying away from like showing any
Yeah.
actual gore or anything. But yeah, I also was a bit like, oh, I wonder why. So that scene wasn't memorable for me, but once I read it, I was kind of like, oh, I wonder why they didn't put it in. But I do think it was kind of fun, like we were saying before, that they gave him a little bit more dimension with the like talking about the parents and stuff.
Yeah, and I think it was a good nod, especially for a show that only has 8 episodes. Did we really have the time to do the whole Krusty scene? I don't think
it is
so.
like
We already had other stuff we were sad was left out.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where you're like, okay, if they get more episodes next time, like they see that this was successful, they'll get more episodes. Hopefully they can stretch it out a bit more and include more of that stuff we really like.
Yeah, definitely.
But I definitely wanted to read that comment because
Thank
that
you
was
so much for
very
your comment,
sweet.
Ace. We really appreciate it. And thanks for joining the Patreon.
And now we're gonna either fight with each other or fight with the comments. So no, something I do say is I like when people disagree with me on rankings in the comments.
Yes.
My only thing is to please be polite to me, be polite to Tessa, and be polite to each other. If you're in the comments riding for your fave, do so in like a nice way, because obviously at the end of the day, this is a TV show.
So
it's
true.
not gonna end our lives if we don't agree on where we put someone.
We will still be friends, even if it seems like we hate each other when we disagree.
Yeah.
I think we'll be fine.
I don't like the negativity.
I think we'll be fine. Yeah, I think what is it? Watcher, they do Rank Room. They've got a really good thing where they argue with each other, but they ultimately say respect the list.
Respect the list. I always say like I make these public, so if you don't like our list, you can go do it and share it in the
your
Discord
own.
and be like, this is my list.
No, definitely. Polite, respectful, ride for your character, and, like, absolutely let us know why you think we're idiots, but in a nice way.
Yeah. Especially, I guess when people are mean to me, sometimes I don't care, but
That's
when people
true.
are
I
mean
don't really
to
care.
other
Don't be mean to each
commenters,
other. Be excellent to each
yeah,
other,
when people
guys.
are mean to other commenters, I'm like, you might forget, but they are a real person behind the screen.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't know what they're going through. So try to, like, stay positive even when you're riding for your faves, because when you, like, negatively attack someone for not liking your favorite character, it just makes them not like the character.
Yeah, you're not gonna change
their opinion.
You catch more flies with honey, or what did they say? Something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's okay, so as we do it, we're going to do a little retrospective of the season and the characters as well, quickly. So
talk about their big moments.
Are we starting from left to right? Are we just going for it?
Let's just start with Annabeth.
We're starting with Annabeth. Well, Annabeth, I think, had a really good season. I think beginning of the season, I'm gonna be honest, obviously Annabeth goes in A at the very beginning. Her first couple of episodes, you know, she's a little creepy. She's a little creepy watching Percy all the time.
I think she also gets off to a rocky start with what the actress is given.
I think so as well.
So we don't really get to see her range there, and I think she was the one, when we first started, we were like a little iffy on her acting.
I think
so. But by the end of the season, I was like, I love her and I'll kill you for her.
I think by the end of the season, I think Annabeth definitely, I am agreeing. I think she belongs in S tier. She can do no wrong. And I also think the actress did a great job showing the growth of the character and stuff. And like, in her last couple scenes and stuff, when she was talking about like how Percy did convince her to go back to her family and stuff, and her scene with Luke where she was like so angry at him, I think was in the last episode, was really great, and she did a great job with those. So Annabeth,
yeah,
you can do no wrong.
When she was allowed to show emotions,
yeah,
like, at the big moment for Annabeth, I think that stands out to me from this season, was the love boat ride and Percy deciding to sacrifice himself, and her, because the Annabeth we had seen previously, right, is going to be like mission. And you're like, okay, she's a little robotic. And it's for a point, but like, it's hard to connect with a character like that. When we see her be like, fuck that, I'm not leaving my friend behind.
Yeah, I think that was
you really become endeared to her.
I think that was a real good moment as well, because I think, yeah, you would expect her to be like, oh, okay, well, you know, the mission's got to go on. But then she sort of flips it around. And yeah, I think I'm excited to see where Leah takes the character as well as the series goes on. I personally never had a problem with her casting at all. I thought and I think she did a great job.
I think the show was brilliantly cast, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think almost all the people I like their casting for.
The next one is also S tier.
Cerberus. You know what? I'm gonna be real with you. I agree so much.
Can do no wrong.
Cerberus also can do no wrong, and you watched us both get angry when Grover said he was a bad dog. We were like, he's actually being a very good dog. I think
he's being a very good dog. He's doing his job.
He's doing his job, and so big slobbery Cerberus can do no wrong.
People who've been here for a while know that, like, I'm always on the animal side.
Dogs always get S tier.
Okay, they don't deserve anything less. They did their job. They played fetch. They were cute. What else do you want from Cerberus?
Cute. Yeah, what else did you want from him? Also, I thought the animation, like, speaking from a show standpoint, I thought the CGI and animation for the Cerberus was really good.
They also picked a Rottweiler base, and I love Rottweilers.
Rottweilers are super cute. He looked adorable. I want to give him a big scritch under the chin.
We can talk about the Chimera, because he was...
Chimera? Look, Chimera...
Is it fair for me to be like, the Chimera, like, was also doing its job, but, like, I don't care as much?
I think Chimera either goes in... For me, either A or B tier. I feel like it's more... Emotionally, it's more B tier. A tier, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaning towards just because I like the animation of it and I thought it was a really cool design. But I think realistically, it's just meant to be a monster, right? So it's not.
Yeah. It's a well-designed
It's a
monster.
well designed
I guess we
monster.
do like it.
I do like it.
We like
Um,
the model and the animation.
I like that. Oh, we should have gone over. So S, they can do no wrong. Literally, we live for them. A, we like, but we're not living for them. B, mid is you did your thing. You came, you did your thing. There's nothing wrong with it. C, room to grow. Not the best character, but maybe meh. Could be
Yeah,
better.
like
In
maybe if either they're given more or the character like
given more character growth.
emotionally we like them more. This is not like by any system either. This is just our gut.
And then D, useless / bi biatch / I never want to see you in the show again, please.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
How
Are
many
we
of those
going?
there actually are?
Are we going?
I think it's A
Are we
because
going
I think
A?
I still like it. It was a good
I
monster.
feel I feel like some of the ones like you put I want to put him like here.
Okay, my argument is, did you like it as a monster?
I
or
did
were you just like it's fine that it was there.
I like it's a cool monster, and I think yes, I'm convinced to put it in an A tier because the poison effect made Walker do some really great acting with Percy. Like the
That's
fact
also
that it poisoned him, granted annoying, but that was really cool. Like for Percy then to have this moment, like locking his friends out while being poisoned and stuff.
I really like that moment where he goes to hand her the sword, but he uses it to like pull her. That's very
That was a very
Percy,
good
like,
scene and a
I
very
like that
Percy
scene.
scene and acted really well by Walker. So for that reason, the Chimera goes into A tier. And maybe you could be better, Kitty, next time. Who knows?
Yeah. Like well, you could have got up there, but like your mom's kind of a bitch.
All right.
This will be an
Kieran.
interesting one.
All right.
Kieran's someone who, if I give you mine, just like honest.
Let's go. Let's go through. Oh, I was gonna go 3, 2, 1 because mine is B for this series.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's fine, but like, was there a moment of his that even stands out to you?
Did he make an impact on
like,
the series?
He didn't to me.
He didn't.
Like, he gave Percy a pen, and then I think he had some other lines, but I don't remember any of them.
Is it controversial to say that some of the goofiness of Pierce Brosnan was slightly more fun? Like, because I think he just kind of went into it like, I'm Kieran and I'm doing a thing, and this guy was kind of like, and I'm a nice, kindly professor who's concerned.
To be fair, Kieran's not like the most my favorite character in the books either, but just looking at this season of the show, I'm like, what did he really add that Grover couldn't just tell him?
Yeah, he made more of an impact in the book because he was more of like a mentor to Percy in the first, like before he goes to Camp Half-Blood. So I think in this series it's B. Mid, you did your thing. It's not like Kieran goes away in the other books, so
it could change. It's just for this one I was like, you were fine, I liked you, but you didn't
he did his
stand
thing.
out. I don't have any negatives.
Acted, no negatives. The acting was good, but I do feel like maybe there just wasn't enough time to give him enough stuff to do.
Yeah. Now this is an interesting one.
Okay.
This is very much you cannot think about future series character, right? Because like Clarice, I want to do like we only saw her in like 3 episodes. I want to say we saw her bully Percy, we saw her bully Percy, we saw her beat up Percy, and then they
saw her get ragey, but she wasn't in any of those scenes.
We saw her glare at Percy, and that is all we saw of her this entire season.
So I'm gonna say that for that reason, I would put her in C as Room to Grow. You may disagree with me. It's either B or C. So I think because the only thing that's giving me the Room to Grow is because we called it Room to Grow. I feel like, look, I think Clarice, I think she was very well. I think she did a great job. The actress, whose name I don't remember.
While you're looking that up, I'll say, I think it's part of my own because she did so well, it's making me go, B, you did your thing because you're
Mm.
supposed to be the bully. But at the same time, I do agree with you that, like, the
Dior.
character felt very
Her
one-dimensional, and
name
this
is
is not
Dior.
on the actress's acting, it's
No.
on the writing.
I think her acting
And
was
who
really
just who
good.
she is in the first one.
Yeah.
Like, Clarice is kind of one-dimensional in the first book. So it makes sense for her. Like, we need more of her, I think.
I agree with you. I think that okay, in that case I guess we'll put her at B and say that yes, you did your thing and
To me, yeah, B
we'll
is like, you did your thing, but like, I want to see more. I feel like needs to grow is more like, we don't like you, but there is,
but
if
there's
you
hope
grow,
for
we
you
could
yet.
like you.
Yeah, I think like C is also just her character is kind of a bitch, but you know,
To be
we'll
fair, I think a lot of these characters were done really well, so it's going to be
mm,
hard to get some of those lower tiers on this
that's
one.
true.
Um,
Okay.
unlike on like Buffy, where I get mad at Xander for something and I put him in the bottom and everyone gets upset, and I'm like, sorry, but that's where he
Boo.
belongs. uh,
Give me 1 second. Oh shoot. Okay. Unpaused.
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 Unpaused. Okay. Okay. So next we were on Mr. D.
Mr. D.
Dionysus.
My gut.
I think he was.
Yeah, go on.
You go. No, you go. Yeah.
My gut reaction, if I'm being real with you, is I like him and I think he's really funny and I think the casting was great. And I think he made more of an impact. Like, his insistence on always calling Percy the wrong name is hilarious. And I think Jason Mantzoukas was a great cast for this. I think that was one of the first ones that we both saw the casting for. And we were like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say the exact same thing. I was like, if I compare him, right, to Chiron.
Yeah.
As they are both kind of mirrors of each other. They're meant to play off of
They
each
play
other.
off each other.
Mr. D stands out to me as, like, while he maybe was in as many episodes as Chiron, he's memorable.
I think so.
I remember him calling him Peter. I remember the end where he's like, "Are you sure your name's not Peter?
Are you sure your name's not Peter?" Like, it's very
and
funny.
Like, he was memorable in a way that Chiron wasn't. And
they're
so
meant to
I
be like mirrors of each other. You're right.
I don't think he can do no wrong.
No,
but I do think
he's he's too annoying to be an S tier.
He's a little too much to be S tier.
And also the fact that, like, he's got, like, his camp is also huge. He's got, like, hundreds of kids and stuff is just so funny to me. And they all just kind of, like, vibe around camp with their dad, who's trapped at camp, which is so funny. Like, yeah. So he can't make it an S tier, but, you know, I think he belongs.
But I do like him. I think he is, you remember him. Like,
yeah.
You remember what he said.
Yeah.
You remember the performance.
I liked it, and I'm excited to see more of him next season. It adds
to those camp scenes where Percy is, like, not in a good headspace and grieving his mom. It adds a little levity.
Yeah. All right. Are we keeping going left to right, or do you want to jump around? We're going left to right.
No, we'll go left to right.
So you got Alecto / Miss Dodds next. We've got this lady here.
Okay, I feel like, should we 3, 2, 1 this? Because I feel like we're gonna be different.
Okay. All right.
You might not. I don't know.
All right. Let's go. Ready? 3,
okay, 3,
2, 1. C.
B.
Oh,
you were nicer. I thought you were gonna be nicer than me.
Really?
Because I don't care about her at all.
I don't think she's useless, and I think she's fine. I liked the CGI when she actually looked like Alecto, although I think they're always a bit tricky when you do, like, the face, like, making it not look like plastic, and it had some moments like that. I do really like Alecto as, like, a normal character, but I think that she made less of an impact in this. I think this is one of the things that I sort of complained about, that, like, because Percy defeated her so quickly in the beginning, and then even when she came back, it was kind of like like she kind of just said a bunch of stuff to them. So I think that the threat wasn't as threat as I wanted it to be. But also
Yeah.
I don't hate the character in itself, you know?
No, I thought you might be higher than me because I know you had liked the character in the book, but
I
yeah,
know.
looking
I'm
at just
trying to
the
go off of
show,
the show though,
um,
cuz you know.
yeah, I said B because I was like, yeah, she did like her thing, but I kind of agree with you in that she could have done better at doing her thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, there were some times where she came back on screen and I was like, I honestly don't care. Like,
So
I don't care about her.
that's for me why I'm
And
like
so,
C, cuz
yeah, I
it's
think C is
I
fair.
think cuz I'm like if they respect her and give her like a more interesting thing, but yeah, like when she like came back when like was like talking to Medusa in that scene, I was kind of like, why is this occurring? I'm just not really
Yeah,
sure why
like,
she's
you feel like she's the first monster you see, so, like, she would be this standout moment in episode 1,
mm.
but I honestly kind of forgot that we even see her as a harpy until you said that.
Yeah, and on the
Um,
bus scene she comes back as a harpy as well.
yeah, I didn't even
Or
remember
a
that that
fury
was
is
her.
what
I
she
thought it was a different
is.
harpy
I think
or
I
fury
think
or
it is
whatever.
still her, right? I don't know. I don't.
Yeah,
But
I think
anyway,
so, but I was honestly like, I don't know, her performance just didn't super stand out. Which,
yeah,
to be fair to the actress, they didn't give her too much either. So.
yeah. I think Megan did an okay job. I just didn't like a lot of her dialogue. I think it felt kind of stiff.
Mhm.
And I think so for that reason, I'm putting her in Room to Grow. I think didn't hate it as like a villain, but also didn't really like her either.
Yeah, if they let her be a little more evil and other, or just a little more like antagonizing, I think it
Yeah,
could have gone up. But like, she was kind of just like, I'm here to do my job.
yeah. Um.
Oh, Sally
Okay,
Jackson.
that's not Sally Jackson. That's Sally
No, oh
Jackson.
fuck, that's Sally Jackson. Hey,
That's
it's
a
littler
kidnap.
on my
They're really
screen. I see a
it is
white
much
lady.
littler on your screen. We could do Sally Jackson next if you want.
No,
This is a
I just saw a
kidnap.
white lady with brown hair and thought it was Sally.
So this
It's
is a
much smaller
kidnap.
on my screen.
I
Thank
know.
you. A
This is what
kidnap.
we're
Oh,
fighting about.
orange.
We haven't fought about a single ranking. We're fighting
No, we
about
agree on this. But
how
when fuck
small
you,
the
I can't see.
pictures are. I also think they're too small, but I'm blind. Okay, Echidna.
I don't know.
My reaction
was,
is D
fine.
tier. I feel like I'm happy she's gone, and I don't care.
I thought her performance was okay.
Again, I didn't like the weird dialogue bit in them. I didn't mind that they gave her dialogue, but I thought it was a little weird that they had her like reveal who she was.
It was very
yeah,
this
exposition
is for the kids who haven't studied anything about Greek mythology.
Yeah, but I still feel like, I don't know, my personal opinion is I think you still could have done that and had it happen
Without her
with
talking.
yeah, or just without like with the kids figuring it out kind of like
Yeah.
afterwards kind
I
of.
also think the chimera is what was threatening. She wasn't that threatening.
Yeah.
So I probably would have put her at. I didn't hate the performance, but I try not always to go off of that. No, we'll put her in D. I think honestly,
I think
yeah,
I'm
like,
happy
we
the
need
character is gone, and I don't care if I
I
see.
just don't, need her to come back. Like, I think if there is no way we see the person coming back in a good, like, productive way, then what is the point?
I don't care if I see this character next season. So
Yeah.
for that reason, bye biatch. Okay,
Yeah.
Gabe
See, now
Agliano.
Gabe is interesting. Gabe is
interesting.
Because
he's not
personality-
useless. He's not
Yeah,
useless.
personality, you might be like D.
But I still want him to
but
buy bitch.
In this show, if I ignore what I know of him from the books, this show, I think he's a B. I think he did what needed to be done. He played Gabe well. He was funny. I don't like him.
I don't like Gabe, and he's annoying, but
I like that he gets turned into a statue.
That was funny. That is what also we did both like as well, because in the book Sally turns him into a statue, and it was kind of funny to have it be
his
him
own
and
fault.
his own like idiocy. He was also like less abusive in the show. Definitely still abusive, but like in the book it is straight up like he's straight up
in
an
the show
abusive
he's kind of
dick.
just an asshole.
He's a dick.
Like he's obviously not nice to Percy, but
No.
like
Or to Sally,
we
but
see
like,
Sally stand up to him in the show.
mm,
Like they kind of have a thing where it's like the couple who yells at each other, and she's
yeah,
like,
and
"Well,
you're
I'm
like,
taking the fucking car."
yeah, you're like, well, you guys shouldn't be together, but
No, but it doesn't feel as like
it's not as bad. So
power on one
I
side of
also
it.
think I kind of the only scene that I kind of wished they had cut in, but understand why they didn't, was there's like some scenes where I think we talked about this where like Percy knows he's being hunted for like by the cops for most of this the book, which he doesn't for most of the
Yeah.
season. He only learns of it like really late in the game. And then on the beach scene with Ares is where they find out, like they sort of flip the script and on it. But there's this scene. There's two scenes in the book where, like, there's a scene where Gabe comes on and essentially accuses Percy of stealing his car with his mom in it, and he's got like some. Then, then something else happens to him, and he gets like hurt, and he's like got like a neck brace on or whatever, and there's this really hot chick on his side, and he's like, it's my physical therapist, I need her. And
I think if they'd maybe had the time for that, I'd put him a little higher.
I just thought there was such a funny scene, but also you're right, the actor did do a good job. He did his thing, and now he's a statue and he's done.
Yeah, he did his job. We don't need him, but like it I think it still added to the show. Like
all right,
this brief look at Percy's life.
Grover,
Our baby boy.
boy.
Grover had an interesting season.
He did have an interesting
kind
season.
of an exposition dump at the beginning of the season, and we were honestly kind of impressed with how well he did it.
I think Arian did a reasonable job with it, but it was like
A lot.
there was a couple of tough to chew on scenes that they gave him. I liked when they gave him more to do, and especially I liked respecking like the scene where he in Medusa's scene where he learns it's his uncle, and he got some like he got to have a nice emotional scene there. I didn't love that, like, I know we had one area or like one sort of thing each where they both got like taken away, like Percy's like companions were taken away. I didn't love like how he got taken away in the casino scene. I felt a little bit, it was a little bit, I don't know, I feel like the first half of it I thought was good, and then the second half it was kind of annoying to me because I was like, oh, he's the only one to fall for things. Like, all three of these kids are ding-dongs. Like, you're telling me that Annabeth,
Oh, my baby's ding-dongs.
I lovable ding-dongs, but you're telling me that Annabeth, who's never seen a video game in her whole life, isn't like, this shit is so cool, and gets sucked in? Like, come on. But I think overall, I can't.
But I do think
I can't not put him in S tier. I just love him.
I have to say, and because I do want to talk about the scene for him that stood out the most to me in the season.
Yes.
Is a good scene. And it's the scene that is very different from the book, where he stays behind at the diner with Ares.
That's true. That was a real
and
good
they have
scene.
this conversation about war and the lightning thief, and like why Ares is like,
did we
how
forget
he
to put
feels
Ares
about
in the
things.
list?
Oh, I definitely forgot to put Ares in the list.
I just, as we started
guys, fuck him.
Guys.
We'll say it at the end, but yeah, I knew I'd forget somebody. I always do.
It's fine. We can fix it.
But yeah, I think that was a very standout scene for him because he got to, I guess we kind of forget because the actor is obviously a child, but Grover is technically not a child.
Yeah.
Although, and so he almost wears kid gloves around Percy and Annabeth sometimes. And I liked seeing him go almost toe to toe verbally with Ares without those kid gloves on.
It's sort of interesting when you talk about things like satyrs or like elves or whatever, like half elves and like aging. Because it's like on the one hand, you're like, oh, it's 34. But then they're like, but an elf doesn't reach maturity until they're 75. And you're like, so do
Yeah.
they act like a 17-year-old when they're 34
Yeah.
or what? Like it's kind of it gets a little wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey. It's like, but you've had 24 years of experience, but did your brain know? I don't know. So it's kind
Yeah.
of weird, but also at the same time, you're right, I did like that scene, and I thought that was an interesting way to do things.
Yeah, I think that was might be one of my favorite episodes of the season as well.
I think
So
that was
there's a
really
lot
good.
from that I really enjoyed. But
Yeah.
yeah, Grover's an S. We all know we
We
were
all
gonna put him
know
there.
where
Like
we're gonna put
anyone
him.
pretending we weren't gonna put him there is
They're
crazy.
crazy.
Um,
All
we
right,
love him.
Hades.
Hades is actually interesting because I thought he would be in D if I was going off like book Hades, who I don't
Mm-hmm.
care about at all. He had a little bit of humor to him that I liked, but I honestly might still put him in C.
So for me, I would put him in B because I enjoyed. Uh, I think he can be in either, but for me, I feel like B is where he belongs in my heart in the show because I think he was interesting, and also just for the fact that like he's most of the plot point in the whole book
Yeah.
and show is like it's a lot of it is like okay, we're gonna get the bolt back to Zeus, but then when they sort of respec it for the show, like so much of it is about, and it is in the book as well, but like they
Mm-hmm.
focus so much on like getting to Hades, because that's where the master bolt is, like
Mm-hmm.
getting to the underworld. So I feel like purely for the fact that they the guys the squad cannot keep his name out of their mouth, honestly. Like
Yeah.
they're just talking about him all season
It's hard
long.
because yeah, he's really only in the one episode.
But the
Um,
impact on the season is a lot.
yeah, I did like the scene where Percy's like, and then you stole it, and he's like, "What
That
the
was
fuck are you
and I
talking
think
about?"
because of that scene, that's why he's got to be in B for me, because I thought that was so
Yeah,
funny.
I can give you that.
All right,
I can give
we'll
you
agree
that.
that I'm not making an argument for A tier here.
Me
Look.
saving that for when I need it. Be like, oh, but remember when I gave you
Remember when I
B?
gave you B? Remember when I gave it to you? I specifically
Remember when
gave
I
it to
gave
you.
it to you?
Don't you remember? Oops. What did I do? Oops. Okay. Yes, I do think that that's fine, and I think I'm okay with that. Um
You can also download a picture of
I'm
Aries
downloading a picture of Aries
and
right
add
now,
it.
just very quickly.
I was like, how do I know that's what she's doing? Okay,
because
I'll talk about the
because I
next one.
started going because I'm physically incapable of
The next one
multitasking.
is Lassiter from Psych slash the King from Gallivant slash what's his fucking name? It's
Hephaestus.
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 That's hard for people with
It's so
lists,
tricky.
okay?
I'm not. Look, I'm not.
Um, I love that actor, so it's harder for me. I'm being like, oh, he was in like one fucking scene.
Mm.
But I liked him. Like I liked him and I wish he would be in more.
I liked him
So
a lot, actually. I thought that it was good acting, and I liked that kind of. Yeah, they kind of gave him a. They gave him um like a not all gods are bad kind of thing.
yeah,
I
and like
and I think that I liked that because he had beef with like how Ares
Andy
and Aphrodite had like been treating him, and like also
mm-hmm.
I think that the throne being was way cooler in the this was one of the ones I
It made him
remember we
matter more.
agreed with on that I thought it was cooler than the book. That the book he kind of it was loads of like traps and stuff, and then they kind of brought in the spiders thing, But the fact that, like, you could see, like, with the Tunnel of Love, you put, like, he does love and care about her, but then also the, like, I don't know,
hurt him.
did she hurt him? It was more interesting than just going straight for, like...
Well, and he, like, did end up helping at the end and being like, you know, we don't all want to be this way either. Like, oh, we
It was
need
more
to see that other
interesting
people
than
can
just having
change. So
him...
I would put him in A,
I'm
even though he
also
was
gonna
only in
put
one
him in
episode,
A.
because I think he had a big effect
I'm okay,
on the episode he was in.
I'm okay
Like, you
with
take him
A.
out of the episode, it's not as good.
I agree, and he's not really in the book, like, that much.
It was a good addition.
Alright.
The next is just
Lin-Manuel Miranda. This, honestly, you could have taken any picture of Lin-Manuel.
I know. I was like, this is a real picture from the show.
This is a real image from the show, but it could truly just be any old photo of Lin-Manuel Miranda, and you couldn't tell. Oh boy, what do we have to say about Hermes?
Do we want to 3, 2, 1 it?
Okay. 3, 2, 1. D.
B.
Ah!
D?
I hate
Holy
it.
shit, he's not that bad. That's crazy.
Okay. I will.
No, please explain, because you're fucking crazy.
I will. Okay, here's my thoughts. He's a deadbeat dad, and he sucks. And I know, but he is somehow worse because he's got so many goddamn kids. Like, I feel like it's worse. It's like being a deadbeat dad for one kid that you weren't supposed to have, and therefore you shouldn't be seen, like, visiting them all the time. Still not excusing the behavior, but having just, like, constantly having kids all the time and then being like, oh, fuck off to camp or whatever, bye. Oh, you want a quest? Go steal an apple for me. Like, okay. And then also, I didn't like the scene where I feel like I would see maybe he does have room to grow in the next ones, but it's like you said, it's hard to not put, like, things I know about the book the book series into it. I don't know if I liked his. It was okay. I will concede. What did you say? A?
I said B.
B.
And I will give my reasoning.
Okay.
I will give my reasonings. My reasoning is that, one, I mostly for the thing is mid, because I feel he did do the job Hermes is supposed to do in the show. Which is he's supposed to be kind of a deadbeat dad.
That's true.
Who, like, basically buys his kids loves with, like, the gifts of, like, the shoes. Which actually probably would have put him in C for me. The B I gave him is he does give them the keys to the car. He does help our heroes out.
He does.
It seems like he has regret for his actions, whether he knows how to, like, change them and be better, I do not know. But it does seem like he does feel shame.
I liked the end of that scene because I did think the acting was good, where he did, like, bring up Luke and stuff, and I do think the acting was good in that bit of the scene. I just didn't like the dialogue. I guess that's more of a problem that I have with the dialogue dump of letting that character just do the exposition dump, which I thought took away some of the interesting bits.
I would be willing to settle with C, but I can't do D because I feel like D means I don't want to see the character ever again, and I don't feel that way.
I don't feel that way either. I just find him annoying.
You just hate him.
I just hate him as a character. I'm not even, like, a big Lin-Manuel Miranda hater. I'm really not. Okay.
I don't know much about him other than he wrote the music for Encanto, and I like that.
And
music.
Hamilton.
I haven't seen Hamilton.
C or B?
I think C is fine.
Yeah, we'll concede C.
Because that's in the middle of where both of us would put him.
I honestly feel like if I'm giving an accurate answer, it is probably C, but just my gut reaction is bi.
Yeah.
All right.
See, now this is going to be an interesting one.
Oh.
It's hard.
I
think he's A.
I have to go A. I was going to say A as well. He's such a good He does so
It's
many
a great
things. He's a
character.
great character. We talked about what makes a good villain as well, and I think a good villain is one that you can understand their motives and the fact
Yeah,
that,
you can
like,
understand in their story where they shifted.
where they shifted, why. Um, like, you can understand how someone with those traumas becomes the person that is
Yeah,
swayed by
he's not
Chrono.
evil just to be evil. He doesn't not care about Percy and Annabeth, but he cares more about the pain he
Even
felt and his goal.
and even like he tries to get Percy onto his side. I think the reason that Luke is an A as well is like he truly believes in what he's believing in. He's not doing it to
He also,
play like some kind of crazy game. He has
yeah,
been manipulated, but he's not trying to like manipulate Percy at the end. He does in the middle, but
he's like,
like
I truly want you to believe
at
what
the
I believe.
end, he's like, well, you can do this too. Like, you just have to come with me now and stop fighting me, and like, everything will be better, and we'll bring them all down together. And
I
Percy
also
is
think
just
he has
like,
the best line in the show.
yeah, what one?
The line where they are, I'm not gonna remember it
Oh,
exactly.
the line in the
Uh,
last
when they're
episode.
sitting in the woods and he's talking about how a
They're
spider is
they're
small, but
fighting in the
it's still
beginning. Yeah,
scary, and you're
yeah,
going to and you're still gonna
right.
smush it.
Yeah, that was because it's
I
like, oh, because they were like,
think
oh,
it's the
we're
best
more
line.
dangerous to them, and he's like, Percy says is trying to convince him like, oh, we're more dangerous to the gods than they are to us, and he's like, well, yeah, spider can like, bite you, but they can smush you in an instant. That was a really good line. Also, I think Charlie did a great job with his character. I really, really loved his casting. I really liked his acting. I don't I can't think of a bit where I didn't like his portrayal
No,
of
I
Luke.
believed he was Luke the entire
He was
time.
so
I think,
nice and charming at the beginning, like he's supposed
and
to
I think
be.
if you did not read the books, if you did not haven't seen the
That
old
would have been a
movies we won't
shocker,
talk
I
about,
think.
if I think he played it so well that you would, if you are someone who went into this knowing nothing about Percy Jackson, you're
Yeah.
heartbroken when Luke
And I
turns
think
on.
and I think again he did a good job like in the scene with like the prism where like he's starting to act a little cagey
He's
maybe.
like, oh,
So like that's when maybe like if you hadn't read the books you would have been like, "Oh, that was a bit weird." Like which is what it's sort of meant to be. So
yeah.
A tier, Luke, great
He just
villain.
can't be S tier because he broke
He
Annabeth and Percy's hearts.
he can and has done wrong. So
He has done us wrong.
he's done us wrong. We were
Uh,
rooting for you.
okay,
We were all
Queen,
rooting for you. Medusa.
kind of
Ah,
queen.
kind of queen.
No, okay, but like, remember when we watched that episode, we were like enthralled with her acting.
I really think she's great. I don't know that I can. I don't know that I can put. See, it's so hard because I feel like the way that we put things in is like A or like C. I just feel. I don't know. I think that.
I think she's better than the Chimera as a villain or a monster in the show. She was way
That's
more
true.
compelling.
That's true.
So I can't put her below where we put the Chimera.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Unless we move him down to B.
Unless you move
think.
him. But like,
No, you're right. I think she's a good villain. And I think she's interesting. I think I liked some of her book things better, but I also that was more about the kids than her scene.
I think out of all the monsters they ran into throughout, she had the most compelling performance. I loved the changes of her talking about Athena.
That was really good.
How unfair it was. That scene just was very compelling to me, and in a way that like the other movie failed at. The movies we don't talk about failed that scene so hard.
Yeah.
You kind of talked about how you wish the kids had done better in that scene.
I think I wish the writing had made it more. Yeah, we just talked way over each other. You go.
No, I was just saying she ate that scene, and I think that's part of it.
I think that I just wish that rather than being like, I'm Medusa in this, I kind of wish they had her like had them figure it out, and then maybe she had still had the scene or something after, but I still liked it. So yeah.
I think it added to her, maybe taking away from them that she didn't lie about it.
Mm.
Um,
I'm
which
fine
is
with A.
interesting.
I'm fine with A. I think it was a good
The
scene.
Oracle is I don't give a fuck about the Oracle in the show. Does the Oracle fucking matter?
Mm.
Did we really need it other than to get the prophecy?
Do you know why is it useless for me? Because then the other scenes which they have the Oracle appear in, they use like the Headmaster and they use like Gabe, and it's like they didn't make the Oracle like scary. Like it's really scary in the book, and Percy's like always kind of thinking about how scary it was and how like his friends are gonna betray him. And I think that in the show we didn't
He
really
like
get that.
repeats it, but I don't relate it back to the Oracle that
No,
much.
it doesn't. They don't show it again. So okay, bye Oracle. Stop giving us
It's
creepy
my baby
prophecies.
boy.
Baby boy.
Put him where he belongs.
Okay, here you go. Up in
Okay,
S
he's
tier.
a sarcastic little asshole, and I love him.
The
I
moment
think
that Walker
the
did
actor
the
is a
floss,
genius.
and looked at a lizard,
We were
we
like,
were
love
like,
him.
we're done.
Obviously, he gets to show the most,
He
right?
does.
He is what the show is about. Um, I don't know how you can watch this and not like Percy. Like he's
No.
a charming kid. He's a sarcastic little dickhead. Uh,
She's a
him
great
calling
character.
Talia a pine
Pine
cone may
cone.
go on one of my funniest moments of a TV show in a long
Pine
time.
cone and the seaweed head back after
We
that is
still
great.
get to see the parts where he is a very self-sacrificing, sometimes dumb, like maybe
Mm-hmm.
let someone help you. Um, we
Yeah.
still see the moments where he's too confident, like he's like, "It's Clarice. It has to be Clarice."
Yeah. Where he thinks he
Which is
knows
something
and has figured everything out.
he's not perfect, but I just really loved it, and I loved the acting.
His
And I'm
acting is
really
great.
excited to see him
Very
grow
excited
up
to
and
see where
become a
Walker
better
Scobell.
actor.
Yeah, he was already great, and I think he was perfect casting for the show. He really gets the character, and it seems like he's really hardworking and like passionate about it as well. Like I really like in the capture the flag thing again. I like their fighting and stuff was great. And in the Chimera scene, I think overall I'm very excited to see where he takes the character.
He's also very young, but does great like facial expression acting. There are so many times when he's talking to like Ares or Hades or Zeus, and like there's these small movements in his face.
You can see what he's
That
thinking, like what
convey
the
emotion.
character's thinking. Yeah, I think it's really great.
And I think he's gonna do a lot.
I think he's gonna kill it, and I can't wait to see him next season.
Yeah.
And it's hard to not like to go over. I think honestly, the capture the flag scenes are some of my favorites, just because they were so silly, and it's hard to continue to go over favorite scenes because it's just the whole show. So I think we need to move on.
There's not a moment where I'm like, I don't like him.
No. All right, Poseidon. How are we feeling?
I like him in the show. I'm trying to be like, I'm taking the book out of it.
Yeah.
I am, from what I saw on the show, obviously I don't like that he's a deadbeat dad, but I think the show does a good job of still making you like him and maybe having a little more understanding for him than you do for maybe like Hermes or Athena's behavior. Because you do have, like you mentioned, the secret child thing. Like Percy is not supposed to exist.
Yeah, I liked that they gave him that scene with Sally to kind of show how much he cared about Sally, because I think that it made you understand and empathize with Poseidon a bit more, because it's like you could kind of understand like, oh, but he clearly loves her so much that's why like the kind of forbidden kid happened.
Out that scene, he's B for me. With that scene, he actually is A, which is kind of crazy.
I feel like we could make an argument for B or C. I think I'm fine with B or A, sorry, is what I meant. I think I'm fine with A, especially because I thought it was quite nice, like his scene with Percy, how he did actually in the book, he's much like kind of colder to Percy. He kind of does like a whole thing with Zeus, and they kind of like barely acknowledge his presence and then argue with each other. And then at the end, like after he brings both things back, he's kind of like, oh, that was kind of impressive, Percy. We'll see how you do later, and kind of says like one nice thing and then leaves. Which, if they had played it like that, it would have been B. But I think it was, you know, he kind of like gives him a little head rustle and like looks at him and
I'm
gives him
kind
a
of
curl.
impressed they make me like him.
Yeah, so I think
because
that's good.
Remembering from the books, I hate him. I hated it.
Yeah, which I think
and I was like, wait, I like him in this show.
I think also was good because I think that then gives Percy a moment to disagree with Luke in the next episode, where then Luke is like, they don't fucking care about us at all. And he's like, but maybe, do you think, like, are they just trying and they don't know how because they don't understand us? And, you know, but Luke really doesn't feel that way.
Generational trauma.
But it gives him the ability to, because I think in the first couple episodes he really does hate his dad. And then after he kind of meets him,
you can't blame him.
I don't blame him at all. But I think that was a good scene for Poseidon. So we still don't live for Poseidon, but I'm excited to see him next season.
But this season, if I'm just looking at the season, I liked him.
Yeah.
By the end.
Crusty. Come on, Rick, give us your ranking.
Like, do you want me to be honest? Because that scene didn't have as well. I feel bad because Ace had that nice comment about how much that scene meant to them in the book, and I'm like, but like, I don't care that much about Krusty. Like, they did their.
I didn't remember.
He didn't even do his job right.
He didn't even do his job right. I thought it was kind of. I think if we're put Medusa in A tier, then Krusty deserves to be in C and not in D, because he had the same.
He's in C with an asterisk that I don't need him to come back.
But I think he could. I think he could come back, because I think it would be interesting, like, to have another scene maybe with him, like if they gave him something else to do, to talk to like Percy, because he is another son of Poseidon.
Yeah,
with another god. Like,
I'll agree. I think he just didn't have that much. I still remembered to put him on the tier list and not Ares, so I guess that says something.
Ares, I think, honestly, I missed because when I was going through the IMDb list, the pictures were so small, and I'm like, I'm sure he's on there.
Yeah, I definitely fucking forgot him.
All right.
I think I said him in my head, but then I didn't do
Sally Jackson.
Sally Jackson. S. Fuck you, I'll die for Sally. Especially Show Sally. I like Show Sally a lot.
I will say my one complaint, which I was like, you can do wrong, was when I was getting pissed at her for being like on 2 occasions expecting Percy to be way more mature than he literally was. Like,
I understand why that annoyed you, but I think
it's
realistic.
I think it's realistic, and I think that's why I didn't like it. It was too real. Yeah,
I think as someone who grew up with a single mom, I did have to grow up faster.
Yeah.
Than maybe some of my other friends. I would be put in charge of kids even older than me at daycare because I was mature.
I think that's
but that came from, like, I didn't have siblings, which you didn't either, and I think that's also a part of it.
I think that I love her, and I do think she's a good mom. It is just that, like, it was too real. Like, God, Sally, stop putting so much on him. Take some of this on
when
yourself.
You're the only parent, there are some times where you actually do have to do that to your kid, and it sucks that she has to do that, and it's not fair to you as a child, but there are definitely times where, like, I couldn't just be the
I think
like,
also by the end as well, like, when her and Percy are there, and like, it was quite funny when he was like, oh, Granddad's in my dreams, and she was like, don't call him that, please.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, please don't do that. I just think, and her standing up to Gabe and stuff.
No, she's
like,
great. She's a great character, and I like her.
I like her more in the show than I remember liking her in the book. I think she's a complex person, so to say can do no wrong, I think, like, for me, that means, like, if someone else came at Sally, I would defend her.
That's true.
Like, even when she's wrong, I'm like, yeah, but I can understand.
Yeah. Support women's rights,
I'm gonna make an excuse for her, which means she's an S.
I support women's rights and wrongs.
Yeah, I support her rights and wrongs.
just spilled soda on my desk. That's cool.
Um,
Okay,
yeah.
Zeus. So I feel we need to take a quick moment to acknowledge that Lance Reddick is a great actor who very suddenly passed away, and that's sad. And I think he did a great job at this character. Now let's talk about the character.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad that he won't
I am
get
sad
to,
that he's
'cause I
not
would've
going to
liked
get to
see more.
reprise, because I think it was really... I liked, like, he was, like, put a lot of, like, rage.
Zeus is similar to Hades, where he's in the whole show in that they talk about him.
I think he's either C or B tier
but
for me.
But he's an asshole, and I fucking hate him.
I think for me in this show, I'm gonna put him at C, because as much as I really, really liked his one scene, I also... there just wasn't enough for me to put him in B tier. I think also
that's where I was... Hades, but I liked Hades, so I was okay with it.
You can make an argument for it, but
I think C is fine, because the difference is I still liked Hades, and I don't like Zeus.
I don't like Zeus, and also I don't think they gave us enough of like the whole time in the book it's like stormy and stuff, because like Zeus is getting mad, and that's kind of like that's kind of a thing that, like, as it's getting closer, like, you know, they're kind of, you feel the presence of Zeus, I guess, a little bit more, which I didn't think
it's not
did in the show.
But
still, I'm sad that Lance Reddick's obviously unable to come back to portray this character, and I'm excited to see what they do with Zeus in the future.
D.
Bye, bitch! Why are you so annoying?
I don't care! Like, he was useless. I get it. It was to show, like, eating the food and, like, just being there, like, affected you.
He was such a pain in the butt.
But I was like, I get why this character's here, and Grover did well acting off of him.
Yeah, Grover did much better acting.
I don't want to see this character
Arian was
again.
Good, but I do not want to see this character again.
I don't need him.
We don't need him. Stay in the casino for your whole life.
When you sent me this next photo.
Okay. I
thought it was the boat guy at first.
No, it wasn't. And I had to...
Oh, it's that guy.
I had to screen cap this from the show, which just shows you that this is the lightest picture I could find.
Fuck.
This is from the last episode. That isn't, like, miles away. So this is Scary Dream Voice, a.k.a. Kronos.
Grandpa.
/ Grandpa. So, I feel like it was important to include him because he is throughout the show, and it is like a big deal kind of going forward.
I think he's B.
I think B. I think he did his
thing, but like,
and he was scary in the scenes. I liked the voice acting.
He was scary.
So I think that's B, because when he came on screen and when like Walker, like Percy would like wake up from the dreams and stuff all scared, I was like, yeah, scary. I would feel like I was going crazy.
Yeah, I think he did his thing, but it wasn't like, oh my god, this acting was insane.
It's hard to be like, this acting was insane when he's not actually like a corporeal character. Yeah. But anyway, that was the best one I could find from the show.
Future seasons.
But yeah, they obviously, I mean, it's not an exaggeration to say that we know he's going to be in the next season. Like,
yeah, it's kind of
so set up in the show.
Clear.
And our forgotten god of war, Ares, aka the Edge.
I mean, I actually did like him a lot.
I am going to say, for me, it's A. I think he did a really good job, but I'll make my argument. I'll make my argument for the character. I think he did a really good job portraying the character of Ares. I also think that I really liked the scene where, like you said with Grover, like, I think he was really good in that scene, and he's really good at being like a cocky asshole that thinks the kids are way too stupid to like figure out his plots, and he's the one using them the whole time, and his scene like on the beach and stuff. I thought it was quite good and like intimidating, and I like I just feel like it was accurate to the character. I thought it was a really accurate portrayal of the character, and also he's a jerk.
Well, yeah, and I would actually agree, because I think from the moment he shows up, he almost becomes the main villain of the season.
Yeah, he's so like intimidating. Like, once they learn,
because he has this knowledge of Kronos and stuff, like he's actually is a part of the bigger picture as well as kind of feeling like the villain of this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like if I think and I'm like, who was the villain of season 1 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians? I'm like, Ares stands out to me the most.
he does, and I think that the Adams, like the Edges portrayal was really good. I think the casting was great, and you know, like his sort of like kind of cocky, smirky attitude towards the kids, I think was really good. And I did have to, when syncing at episode 7, listen to his beginning recap monologue of Olympians fight. We kill each other. We betray.
God.
We backstab about 700 times. So I don't think that's gonna stay in my brain forever. Now it lives in there.
No. Yeah,
So I think if we put
actually agree with
Medusa
you.
at A, I think that Ares also deserves to be at A.
Yeah, I think that's what he deserves. He's almost S because he was like,
He would almost
but
be
I don't,
S, but
he's a jerk.
I don't like him. So
Yeah, you're
he
not
doesn't
supposed
have
to
like,
either.
and you're not supposed to, but he doesn't have like a redeemable moment like Hephaestus
I
does.
struggle
like,
even when someone's a really good villain to put them in S because I'm but I don't like them.
I don't like him.
I don't like them.
Especially because we've called S, they can do no wrong. So he doesn't deserve to be there.
These are for people who are really good and we also love and are rooting for them. Where
Exactly.
A, like villains can get in there if they're a good enough villain.
Exactly. But A, we like, but we don't live for them.
Yeah, I'm not rooting for them to win.
No. Except maybe Luke sometimes.
I feel bad for Luke.
I'm rooting
Luke's
for
hard.
you to
I don't want him to
rehabilitate.
get what he thinks he wants.
I
I
know.
just want him to get therapy.
Yeah, all of them need that's our next tier. You need extensive therapy. I feel
you need therapy.
confident with our list. I don't feel like I'm looking at this and I need to change anyone.
No, I think this is like pretty fair. I can kind of identify who I think will go up in the next season.
Yeah.
If done well. And who I think might go down. If done well.
If done, or done poorly as well, I think.
Or done poorly, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a pretty good tier list. I think we agreed, we disagreed. At the end of the day, we tend to have pretty similar opinions.
Tend to have pretty similar opinions.
But that's why I'm excited to hear you guys' opinions.
Let us know.
What do you agree with? What do you think is absolutely batshit crazy? What do you think is honestly we were too nice?
Yeah.
To some. I'm excited to hear what you guys think.
And we're now that season 2 has officially been greenlit, because we were talking about that last time and it hadn't. But we are very excited to actually be talking that officially we're going to go into season 2 and hopefully see almost all of these characters again, but not all of them.
Yes. And we are going to record the behind the scenes thing. I think what I'm going to do is it'll be a Patreon exclusive unless we hit the like goal on YouTube, and then I'll edit it down for YouTube.
Awesome.
But until the YouTube video hits the 20 like goal, I'm just going to leave it on Patreon.
Exclusive. So, yeah. So let us know in the comments down what you think. If you can't join the Patreon, make sure like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. And if you are a patron, thanks so much, and we'll see you next week.
Next time.
Bye.